You don't have to scour the internet to find videos or information about job red flags. So signs that if you see these things when you are interviewing with a company, you should not take the job. But what about green flags? What about signs or signals that if you see them during your interview process, you should move towards that organization? Well, there aren't many. But today's video is the first of 3. I'm going to give you 8 different green flags so that if you see these things while you are interviewing, you know with confidence that the company is probably a pretty good place to be and you should be interested in gaining employment there. Let's go. Hey everybody, I'm Ben White with Ben Talks Talent. I've got 12 years experience in interviewing, hiring, and recruiting, and I'm passionate about using my experience to help you become the best candidate possible and land your next job. And in today's video, we're gonna be talking about green flags, positive signs that a company is probably going to be a pretty good company to work for. I'm gonna tell you what 8 of them are and explain why. But before we get into the content of the video, do me a favor. If you are new here, take 3 seconds, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell. That way you never miss one of my 3 free weekly videos that are all designed to help you. And if you are not new, well, welcome back. It is amazing to see you again. I hope you are doing well. Let's get into the video. Now, the first green flag we're gonna be talking about is a quick, but not too quick interview process. Now, why? So when you see a company that takes a long time to move through a process, we're talking about 6, 7, 8, 9 interviews. For the most part, what does that tell you? Well, it probably tells you they haven't done a lot of work on candidate experience. They haven't invested the time to understand that, hey, this is a lot of work. For people who are already working or people who are looking for a job, having interview after interview after interview after interview, this is not a positive thing for them. It is not easy. And especially when you consider someone might do 6, 7, 8 interviews and still end up in second place and not getting the job. I always consider companies that have efficient, quick interview processes to be candidate forward. They understand the work it takes to do that, and they modify their process to make sure it's efficient. Now, flip side, a little bit of a red flag. This is a green flag video, but I need to mention this. If a company moves too quick, an interview one day, they say, hey, can we talk to you tomorrow too? They interview a second time and they extend you an offer. I would be wary of that, especially if they tell you, now you need to respond to us quickly about accepting this offer. Companies that move too quick sometimes have things to hide, but a quick, efficient interview process, in general, that is a positive thing. The next green flag I'm going to talk about is adequate communication throughout. Those of you who have interviewed, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video is all of you, understand that it can be really challenging as a candidate to interview, thought it went well, and then crickets. I don't know if I have access to cricket sounds, but if I do, I'm going to insert it here. If not, imagine them. But imagine if you were like interviewing and then it's a whole month before you hear from them. They go, hey, Ben, you ready for your second interview? What are you supposed to think? You probably go, what do you mean? I thought this was over. You haven't talked to me in a month. Whenever I see a company does the opposite though, they tell you at the end of the interview, here's when we'll talk to you next. In between that interview and your next one, they go, hey Ben, just wanted to let you know we're still scheduled. If you have any questions, let me know. Adequate communication, that is a green flag. That's another sign that the company understands what it's like to be a candidate. It is hard, and they're trying to make the process more candidate friendly. Companies who do things like that typically have a pretty good idea of how to treat their employees because they're treating candidates positively. They get it. Now, the next green flag I'm gonna talk about is a company that doesn't ask you what you're making today. Quite frankly, that's like illegal in like 5 states now. But they ask you, what do you need in order to make a move? These seem like subtle differences. But let me explain why it matters. Companies who are asking you what you need to make a move, they aren't going to lowball you based on the money you are making today. They're gonna pay you for the range as it exists today. So what does that mean? It means the people in the job at the company, they make a certain range. They make between A and B for a salary. And the company has committed to making sure you get paid the same because they're not asking you what you make now, they're asking you what you need. That's a big difference. If they ask you what you need, it's possible they're going to lowball you. They're going to give you an offer that isn't in line with they're paying the current people who are doing the job. It's just a little bit more than you're making now. Green flag if they don't ask you what you're making and instead they ask what you need to make. Green flag number 4, they give you plenty of time to ask questions. Interviews should be a two-way street. Everybody who knows interviewing says that, and they're right. If you are going to interview with a company, it's not just about them finding out if you're a good fit, it's about you finding out if it is worth the risk to leave your current job and start with them, or start with them if you don't have a job, right? That is a risk that you're taking on your behalf because it's gonna stay on your resume, you have to go work there, we spend so much time at work, it is a risk. And if a company expects you to take that risk without giving you adequate time to ask all the questions you may have, that is a red flag. But if they give you plenty of time and let you ask question after question after question, and they answer it positively and thoroughly and authentically, well, that is a green flag. The next one, this is a pretty easy green flag, but if you look at their Glassdoor rating, their Indeed rating, and their Google rating, and they are rated well, and there's a lot of ratings, and the people write positive things about the organizations, and clearly it's people in different levels of the organization, that is a green flag. If you see 3, 4, 5 positive ratings, that's not enough data. But if you go onto Google or Glassdoor or Indeed and you see 30, 40, 100, 1,000 ratings and they are positive, I would trust that because that is a lot of data from people who do not need to say good things. Good reviews, that's a green flag. The next green flag is that the interview panel, if you have an interview panel, has people of all different ages, experiences, just basically diversity. If you see an interview panel where it is like 3 dudes who have been at the company for 30 years, you can consider that a red flag if you want, or a yellow flag. But I definitely think it's a green flag when you walk into an interview and you have a boss, you have a junior person, you have a person who's maybe been there like a middle of the road amount of time, and there is diversity there in all ways. That is a green flag to me because it means, in all likelihood, that it doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from, where you went to school. It means it's a meritocracy. If you do good work, you can advance within the organization. And to me, super big green flag. Another green flag, and you've got to do research to find this out, but if you have an interview panel, for example, and you look at the names of the people who are going to be interviewing with, that you're going to be interviewing with, you go to their LinkedIn page, and when you go there, you can see they've been promoted, right? They came in as an associate, now they're a level 2, and then they're a level 3, right? That growth at an organization, that's a green flag for me, because if I go to an organization, I want to know that if I do the right things, I will be promoted. That's important. And seeing that, having it be demonstrated to you through actual people you get to talk to, that's a green flag. The last one for today's video, and I have 2 more of these videos coming up, so if you like this video or you just want to know more, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are notified when I release a video. Because again, I've got 16 more green flags coming in the coming weeks, but the last one for today. When they extend you an offer, it comes in, like say you give them a range, right? If it's in the top 50% of that range, that to me is a green flag. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a company get a range from a candidate and extend them literally the bottom of the range. So a candidate say, I'd be willing to take from 60K to 70K. The candidate is saying, I will accept a job offer in all likelihood if everything makes sense within this range. And then their response is, well, let me give you the least possible amount. Fine. You gave them that number, it's acceptable. But it's a really positive sign if they go, you know what? I know Ben will accept less, but let's give him more because we want him to be happy when he comes in. We want him to be enthusiastic. And it's not just about getting the most value out of these candidates. These are candidates we want to make members of our team. Let's give them what they're worth. So if you give them a range and they come in near the top of that range, I probably don't need to tell you this, but that's a green flag, homeboy. Well, there you go. Those are 8 green flags. Stay tuned. Next week, I'll do another one. The following week, I'll do another one. I've already have these down, but I wanted to break them into bite-sized chunks. Hope you found this valuable. Good luck in your next interview. You got this.